So I'm looking at the Mandela effect stuff that we've already had for a while. One of them jumped out at me the other night that I kind of forgot about. I saw it in it was in a movie or a clip from a movie or something. They're talking about the picture of Dorian Gray. Now, for me, it has always been the painting of Dorian Gray. I think when the story was first set, yeah, I should probably look at this stuff before I start talking about it. But one thing I'd like to look at is if the story was set before regular photography, because I think it's a very old story. Could be wrong, but in any case, I think if it was a bit older, it would be more likely that it would be a painting instead of a picture, as it always was. Excuse me, I got my 5G beam cough. Every time I fire this up, it's like all the frequencies bombard my fucking throat, because they know I'm trying to share information, you know. Try to get two people together, like in person, to share information, you get doubly attacked. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the picture of Dorian Gray just drives me nuts even hearing it. You know, it drives me nuts even hearing it. Oh, it was in relation to, I was watching a documentary on Michael Hutchins, which yeah, his whole thing is weird too. I fell in that rabbit hole last night. I thought it was like a British thing, a royal family thing, why he was killed. I mean, he was absolutely killed. They found him with the broken hand, lacerations, all this other shit, and then he hung himself. Nah, he had the bathtub full too. So he's gonna take a bath, and then he decided to break his hand. It's hard to hang yourself. I don't know if like people ever think about this, but it's not easy. You know, you'll reach a point where your body's gonna revolt against what you're doing. If you've ever tried to harm yourself in any way, you'll know. There's this thing, like, it kicks in like at the last minute, and it's like some kind of defense in your body. Whatever the case, he didn't do that shit with a broken hand. So he was murdered. For a long time, I thought it had something to do with the royal family, because Sir Bob and all that stuff. But the more I look into it, well, the more I look into it, meaning 5G. The more I look into it, meaning reviewing others' research, because that's basically all I did, is that I guess his savings or his fortune got caught up with the Australian mafia, and this happens to happen to other artists throughout the history of music. As much as the JQ is a power player and the gay mafia is a power player, the mafia is also a power player. So what happened in the case of Hutchins, like just to boil it down, he invested in some companies that didn't know were mob companies, because his lawyer was like a mob adjacent. Put his money into some stuff which is basically through a bunch of other sub companies, land holdings and all this other kind of shit, siphoned all his money over to them. And the day before he would have learned out, the day before he would have learned that he was penniless is when he died, is when they killed him, you know. And so I don't know, it could be that, or that could be a cover-up for something else. I have no fucking idea. Interesting story, though. It's just so funny, like, how these, like, morticians and these local police in these areas, you know, Freemasons, all they have to do is say, yep, suicide. Don't waste any more of the public's funding to try to reopen this case. It's definitely suicide. And then that's it. You know, that's why it's scary. You know, it's often said that, you know, how power, you know, comes down from the top, and that is true. But there's still stuff locally that can happen that can really screw you. In the case of like that situation there, you know, local mortician or police on the scene, or police, local police there, just kind of, you know, And that was it. That's all it took. But so I think it may just be a money thing. I don't know. But anyway, wow, that's getting way off the track. Picture of Dorian Gray was mentioned in there because they were saying Michael kind of reminded them a little bit of like Dorian Gray was afraid he was losing. I don't know. It could all be made up shit. The guy's been dead a long time. Great singer, great front man. But I mean, he had peaked, you know. As for what the outside of him saw, people saw that he was going to be worth more dead, basically, than alive, and that's when, you know, they got him, which is short-sighted because the band like In Excess, I think had he survived, and I don't know if they would have returned to prominence culturally or in you know, in that way, but they definitely would have became like a legacy band, and I think they would have had a reappraisal, a critical reappraisal, as far as like say even like a Duran Duran did or something, who's had a critical reappraisal in recent years. And I mean, it might even be a you know, something like a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sort of bid for them. Not that that means anything, but it does help with your visibility, and it can help you financially. It's just something to put on the CV, not the CD, but the CV, to just, you know, bolster your cachet somehow, you know. But yeah, so they kept mentioning that picture of Dorian Gray, and it's just driving me nuts. Whenever I hear these changed phrases, they just sound wrong to me. They feel wrong to me, and I think they're supposed to feel wrong to you. They're supposed to make you go, wait, what? Because they almost always do. If you build it, he will come. What the fuck are you talking about? Who's he? Satan? But it's like, what it does is some of these chain sayings make all the other, what would be called residue sayings, or the ancillary sayings, or the tertiary stuff that has to do with the original quote or the original wording, it makes them not work either. Like all the, you know, maybe a spoof or something, or like in the case of like the Tom Hanks, he's in it too, Tom Cruise in Risky Business, when in my memory and in many people, other people's memory, he had the glasses on, right? And in the movie he doesn't. My memory was a white shirt, sunglasses, right? And in real life, it's just a pink shirt. In real life. In the current reality, it's just pink shirt, no glasses. But then if you look at spoofs, like stuff on Saturday Night Live, or other shows, you know, where they spoof that scene, it's always the white shirt and the sunglasses. So did all these people just get it wrong? And that goes for almost all of these Mandela effect ones. People talk about Dolly's braces a lot. Moonraker, where the whole point of the joke in the film was that she had metal in her mouth too, and that's why they had the two of them had a thing, you know, together, or they had something in common. To that point, they had an Avis commercial. I think it was Avis in the 90s, where the guy that plays Jaws goes to an airport and he's having some kind of problem there or whatever, and there's a girl that works for Avis that's like kind of helping him through the process of getting his shit together, getting on the plane or whatever. And at the end of the commercial, she reveals herself to have braces, and then he smiles and like, doo-doo. So that commercial is still the way, it still remains that way. You can still see that commercial. Well, you could I mean, the last time I checked, you could still get it. And the races were in that commercial, so the joke works there. But in the actual film, there's no races. You know, it's those things that come in the wake of the change. Like I've talked about the Twisted Sister thing quite a bit. In 1985, they released an album called Come Out and Play. And the stage show and the kind of aesthetic was sort of centered around street gangs. Or in this case, like the Warriors type of street gang, like a cartoonish kind of street gang. And in the beginning of the album, the singer Dee Snider, he does the little monologue or whatever with the bad guy. Where the bad guy, is he freaking out? Could just be freaking out. It's hard to tell sometimes. Do I go over and talk to him? That's what I do usually. Seems like he's just mad at that guy. He's calling him out to fight. He's calling him out to fight. So the guy comes out to fight and he runs away. That doesn't happen often. Like usually people like that are freaking out, like just homeless. He's obviously a street mutant. They'll be like, "Come on, I'll kill you," and then like this guy, he's like, "All right, come on," and he walks outside and the guy runs away. They all do that though. None of them. It's all bark, no bite, because they're just looking for attention. They don't want to get their ass kicked. Is that guy still following? He is. He's still going after him. Good, fuck him. You shouldn't be causing a fucking scene like that. You know, there's a bunch of like tourists here and old women and kids and stuff, and you can't be doing that. Like, screaming and you gotta do this and that. But that's how you. That's kind of 99% of the time what happens. If you accept the challenge will dissipate. There will be no challenge. That doesn't go just for street mutants. That goes for a lot of people. That goes for a lot of like people out here. You know, I've mouth off back to guys way bigger than me, and just because it's instinctual, I'm just like, I don't care. You knock me out if you want, but fuck this guy. And nothing happens. Nothing happens. You know, a lot of times people are just trying to either show off or like just cause a scene. You know, it's not usually something you should worry about, because usually if you just like. If you show that you're not passive, right away they fucking fuck off. It's just how it is. It's always been that way. Anyway, who wants to play? Twisted Sister, 1985, Atlantic Records. They were coming off a big album called Stay Hungry, which had all the songs that anyone that knows Twisted Sister might recognize. We're not going to take it. I want to rock, all sort of stuff. So this was the next record after that. So it was a big deal. The label was putting a lot of money into it. They had a lot of guest stars on this thing. Clarence Clemens, Billy Joel, Brian Setzer, Alice Cooper, a whole bunch of people were on this thing. They spent a lot of money on this album. So anyway, it's called Come Out and Play. In the beginning, the singer Dee Snider does that little monologue from the Warriors film, where at the end of the film, the villain has the Warriors cornered, and he's in like a car, and he's carrying like a bottle in his hand, and he's pricking the bottle. And he's doing like this kind of nursery rhyme kind of thing to them. He's like, you know, warriors, come out and play. Warriors, come out and play. So Dee does that, except he does Twisted Sister. So he's like, Twisted Sister, come out and play. You get it. You get it. So now, it's in this reality, it's been changed to Come Out to Play. And if you go back and watch the movie, when he's out there banging the bottle, he's like, come out to play. It's fucking stupid. Who says that? Who says come out to play? I mean, I guess some people. I think it might be more of a British thing. But it's always been come out and play. Hey, come out and play. You gotta keep them separated. Come out and play is a saying, you know? So, I mean, you know, you have these guys that'll like want to tell you that it's just your memory, bro. You got a shit memory, bro. It's like, all right, so Atlantic Records, with all their money, and the management company, everyone in the band, all this stuff, they all just got the line wrong. I mean, they all got the fucking thing wrong. Yeah, that doesn't seem likely. And then if you look at the Wikipedia page for it, for the album, it references how he quotes the movie, right? It even says like the album opens with Snyder doing, the come out and play thing, as seen in the film The Warriors. Then you go to the Warriors film, and it's not in there. It's been changed, of course, to come out to play. So it's stuff like that. I think the answer might lie in things like that. I think instead of I've been when I do look at it, I get hyper focused on the individual effect. Like I was trying to put together Berenstain, it's become Berenstain. Picture has become painting, stain, painting, Illuminati confirmed. So it's like, I'm trying to connect words like that, but I think maybe the answer is in the residue, perhaps. Why can't that stuff be changed when other things are changed? I mean, all the DVDs can be changed, all the VHS can be changed, the tie-in books can be changed for the most part. That varies. Sometimes you'll get a book based on the film, and it'll have the original pre-Mandela effect saying. I don't know. I think maybe because trying to connect words together, I mean, that is a method, and maybe that's something that we have to do anyway. I did for a while. I was trying to do that for a while, and I'm like, there is no answer here. But maybe there is. I don't know. But I just noticed those two things, they're both stained, they're both paints, they're both, and then look at other stuff that way and try to connect them. Now, this is taking a pretty big gamble, and it could waste a lot of time. And the idea that they're giving us a message, they're trying to tell us something. Maybe they're not. My idea is it's an intelligence, right? And maybe this is the only way it can talk to us is through this, crazy shit. So, but that might not be true. These things just might be random. It's tough. It's tough. You don't know, it's tough. And not a lot of people are really looking at it seriously beyond making YouTube videos about the latest Mandela. I mean, I'm not helping either, but I mean, it's it's definitely the most important phenomenon that's ever happened in human history, hands down. What else is crazier than that? There's no secret society. There are no other conspiracy or whatever that comes close to this. We're witnessing reality changing, and it shows that not so much that it's changed, but it shows that it can be changed. That's pretty fucking crazy. I feel like people should be more freaked out by this than they are. And that's where I think there's some kind of spell as well involved. Because like I said last week when I first started thinking about this again, I feel like there was a spell was broken over me. I don't know if I want to it's fucking raining now, so I'm going to turn this off. But I felt like I woke up from some kind of thing that was like, hey, that's weird. Because for a while I was just like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. What are you going to do? I don't know what that is. And I would just kind of forget about it until I saw a new one come out, a new effect come out. And that just kind of hit me what the fuck are you doing? There's something here. There has to be something here. This is the most clearly supernatural thing that we have currently. That's not a personal experience that a lot of people are experiencing at once. I'm going to just put the camera away because it's raining out here now, but I'll be back. It's just stuff to think about, Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.